everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I am your host, Edith, and we are back with another episode today. It's another week. We have technically this would be the last week of March. Before you know it, we'll be in April. You know what that means? April showers. So what does that mean? That'll bring May flowers. So before you know it, it'll be May. Before you know it, I will be 30 in May. Oh my goodness, it's all happening so fast. I will legally be an adult. Or at least in my head, I think that's what qualifies you to be like a real adult is to be 30. There's nothing to prove that, but in my head, that's what it is. So yeah, here we are, another week. I give a little shout out to our little Tommy Lee. I know his mom sometimes listens to us. Hi, Gutty. That's my best friend. That's my wife. It was his birthday this past week. So he's now one, and it was so great to see him. And he's growing up. He's growing up really well. So, happy birthday, little Tommy. Happy late birthday now. And yeah, that's all I have for updates on life. Other than that, that's it. Here we go. We're gonna go on to our stories of today. And the first story comes from, I feel like my algorithm really, because I do a lot of these scientist stories, it has really gotten with like a lot of science stories, and I just find them interesting. So I guess here we are on our science era or something. So here it goes. The first one is, scientists find new species of life after iceberg breaks off Antarctica. Already starting with the words is hard. But I like this story, and I'm going to read this story, but I want to say that the title is very clickbaity, because later find out that it's not that they know yet if they've discovered anything new. But, articles have to make their money somehow, right? So it goes. Researchers were working off the coast of Antarctica when it happened. A gigantic iceberg about 19 miles long cracked off the ice sheet on January 13, revealing a swath of the ocean that had not seen daylight in decades. The team aboard a research vessel called the Faculor 2 decided to search the seafloor under the freshly exposed ocean. Quote, "It's the kind of event that when it happens, you leave whatever you're doing and you go," said Patricia Esquet, the expedition's chief scientist. Still, expectations weren't high. The scientists didn't think much life could thrive under such a thick blanket of ice. But the team members found under the iceberg surprised them. Giant sea spiders, octopuses, ice fish, corals, and sponges, including a vase-shaped one that may be hundreds of years old. In total, the researchers believe that they will be able to identify dozens of new species from the expedition. Among the species potentially new to science are crustaceans, sea snails, worms, and fish. It would take months of the lab analysis to confirm the discovery of any new species, but most of the work starts now. And they say they hope to go back to see how life under the area uncovered by ice changes, providing a window into how deep sea life is in polar regions. I keep trying to say popular. In polar regions may change as temperature rise and more icebergs cave in Antarctica and elsewhere. Which I think we all know about global warming, and sadly, it's happening. Whether people want to see it or not, it's happening. But I thought it was pretty interesting that they went into this thinking, I don't think I saw what they were originally there for. I think they were just exploring. I think they might have hinted a little bit on the reason they were there was because they were already trying to see how like the whole ice melts and all this stuff, how this was going to be impacting the life in the oceans and stuff. So I think that was the reason why they were there. But don't quote me on that. But y'all go ahead and read the article. I did read it, but for some reason I can't come think of it. But the fact that they went in thinking, or they just happened to be at the right place at the right time, really is quite amazing. Because as a researcher or scientist, being out there in this moment to happen right in front of you, I'm sure it has to be amazing, being able to go ahead and have first dibs, I would say, in this un, I guess, unknown part of the ocean because nobody has touched it because it was just ice at one point. I think it's pretty awesome. Talk about being at the right place at the right time, right? And so for them, I'm pretty sure it was like the best thing in their life to ever happen. And the fact that they did find so much life under that ice cap, I think it's amazing. When we think here of just the animals to live in the hot desert or the animals to live in normal jungles and stuff like that, they each are, animals who have processed the climate and stuff like that and are able to thrive in that climate. So it just goes to show you how much of like the animals that really do want or need to live there, how their bodies just really progress to be able to accommodate to that climate and to be able to accommodate to a freezing temperature climate. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's pretty cool that they were all just living under there, like, and how much more life there must be under the rest of these ice caps. Although I know I don't want them to keep melting, and I think that we are at this point in time where it's cool to see all these discoveries, but we know they're not happening because of something good. We know they're happening because of something bad. And global warming is something that's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And I want to say, let's care, let's do something about it. But as much as I hate to admit it, I feel like there's not enough of us who do really care to make it a big enough change for it not to happen. And with our current situation, I feel like a lot of people seem to think global warming is a joke. So I hate that this is happening, but it's pretty cool that they're finding all these species. I hope that they do find something new. It's always interesting when they find something new, and then we get to see all these new cool animals. But it's also like they said that they plan to go back to see how it's impacted. I think it also would be really cool to see how much this is going to impact the life that's already under there. Like, is it going to impact the way of these animals have lived so far? Like, are the temperatures obviously going to drop or I guess get higher? I guess would be higher would be the word because they would get warmer. And how this is going to affect them. So I'll be interested to see if we get any like article later on down the road. How sometimes I get those articles that are like, oh, this is what happened so far. So it would really be nice to get an update a year or so later and see how it really affected this area when this ice cap melted. So I thought it was a cute little story of today. It was small, it was short, but I thought it was interesting to see what's going on, and I think that we should all just be a little bit more conscious on this whole global warming stuff. But that's my 2 cents. I can't change everyone's mind, right? So that is that, but we will go on to our next story of today. And it's from the subreddit AITAH. And it goes, am I the a-hole for embarrassing my stepmom at dinner after she tried to teach me a lesson about my real mom? Those are always spicy. And it goes, I, 18 female, live with my dad and my stepmom, 43 female. My mom passed away when I was 10, and it's still a sensitive subject for me. My stepmom came into the picture a couple of years later, and while we're civil, we're definitely not close. She's always had this weird vibe, like she's trying to compete with my mom even though she isn't here. She gets snippy, and when I talk about her and wear anything that belonged to her, like my mom's old necklace that I wear basically every day. Anyways, a few nights ago, we were out for dinner with my dad, stepmom, and her parents. Her mom asked me about the necklace I had, and I said, it was my mom's. She gave it to me before she passed away, and I wear it almost every day. And the stepmom immediately cut in with, well, technically, I'm your mom now. I've done more mothering in the last 8 years than she did in 10. I swear the whole table went silent. I just laughed and said, if you think being a mom is just trying to erase the actual mom, then yeah, you've done amazing. And she looked like she had been slapped. Her mom gasped. My dad told me to apologize, but I refused. I said I was tired of her acting like my mom never existed, and I wasn't going to play along anymore. Now, my stepmom is barely speaking to me, and my dad says I need to be the bigger person because she's just trying to connect. But to me, that didn't feel like a connection. That felt like erasure. I'm not sure if that's a word, but it might be. Am I the a-hole for calling her out in front of everybody? And I say no. I don't like it when people try to compete with people's dead relatives or family or friends or whatever it is that might be. If they're dead, why are you trying to compete with somebody who's not even here anymore? That makes me mad. I know that for 10 years, because she said she died, right? She died when she was 10. Yeah, she passed away when she was 10. So she got to have her mom for a good part of her actual memories, because, kids do keep memories. Like, I think it's like after 6 or up, they do retain those most heartfelt and memories. So she has memories of actually living, bonding, and being with her mother. So it's not like she was like 3 or 2 and doesn't remember her mom. No, she got to live with her mom a pretty good life. And for this person to come in and be like, I have done more parenting in 8 years than she did in 10, it's absolutely disgusting. Like, who even says that? You weren't there. You don't know what this person was, or, if this person was good to them or not. And obviously this kid feels that this person was good enough to be her mother if she still holds on to things that the mother had. Obviously they had to be a good parent, because obviously if they were a bad parent, I'm sure this kid probably wouldn't want to hold on to the things that this parent had. And I think it's honestly just awful. Like, what kind of person does that? I don't understand the competition. I don't understand why she feels threatened. Does she think her husband is just gonna walk off and leave? Like, it's not even like the person is alive. Like, let's say it was a divorce or something like that. No, it's someone who has passed away. And I think that's so sad. It's so sad to be alive and feel like you have to compete with somebody who's not here anymore. So that's my 2 cents. That got me heated for a moment. But yeah, I don't think she's the a-hole for saying it. And I think it just goes to show that the rest of the family members should be like aware that this person is not okay. I hate that it was in front of the person's parent, which I guess the mom's mom, and I guess dad too. But I mean, the comment she made was just rude. So I honestly, I don't give. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. I don't think she did wrong. But let's go on to the top comment. This was posted 4 hours ago, so it's pretty fresh. It goes, not the a-hole, period. I don't even have anything else to say. How dare she say that to you? And OP actually responds to the comment and she says, I appreciate it. I didn't expect her to go there either, but still I was trying to process it honestly. And then somebody else goes, you need to secure everything your mother gave you. Seriously, leave nothing around that belongs to your mother, and make sure everything is secure. If she is this insecure, I wouldn't put it past her to get rid of it or damage anything you have. This includes photos that you have and make copies of them on your computer. And OP goes, I haven't thought about this, to be honest, but hearing this now, I think it would be stupid of me not to do it. Thank you. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's something smart. If she really is this insecure, you never know where she could take it out on the things that your mother used to own. And I say that like I'm talking to OP. So I hope that they're not this person doesn't go out and take it out on all this stuff that this poor girl, or yeah, because it said female, right? Let me make sure, guys. Yeah, it said 18 female. I hope that this person doesn't have to let go of anything that's precious to her. I definitely would go and start making sure that this stepmom cannot get a hold of anything that you have that belonged to your mother. Like that locket, especially because considering, I feel like that's the first thing they would go to. Considering this person, OP, said that they weren't every day, I feel like that's the one thing that she would try to go for, is like try to make sure to get rid of this locket or necklace, whatever it might be. So yeah, definitely be careful with all that stuff, because people be really petty, I would guess would be the word, and they just don't know what they're doing. So definitely take care of your stuff. Make sure they're in safe spaces, and make sure you're in a safe space. If I did the math right, it should be 18 now, because it was 10 and she said she did 8 years with you, so you're 18 now. If you don't feel safe, the kids are playing. I'm sorry, guys. So they're trying to fight over the ball. But yeah, just be careful of anything that happens there. You're 18, so maybe start looking in places to be. And I know I always say this, and I know it's easier said than done. But if you can find somewhere else to go, to live, to be out of her presence, I would say take the opportunity, because you never know what this person could do down the road. Thankfully, you didn't have to live with her too long. If you can get out, but if not, then just keep your things safe, and I hope it goes well for you. I hope no other comments like this are made. And I don't think you had to be the bigger person. You're only 18. This person, she said she was 43. And at this point, why are you arguing with a teenager? I don't get it. I never understood that. I never understood why older people try to argue with someone who's so young. Like, why? You're not in high school okay, I understand if it's like situations that involve, having to parent or having to tell somebody, hey, this is wrong. But when you're like 40 something, or you're trying to have drama with someone who's barely like 20, or in this case 18, why? Like, why? I don't get it. But that's another thing to uncover. And so yeah, don't think you're the a-hole. I don't think any one of these comments thinks you're the a-hole, and I definitely do think that they're giving you good advice by protecting the stuff that was your mom's. And I think, sometimes they say that family is everything, but it's obviously really hard. But sometimes you have to let them go if they're that toxic. So Just my 2 cents there. And that's that. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think OP should do? Do you think, or maybe y'all did think she was a a-hole for saying what she did. I don't think she was, but some people out there might be able to change my mind. But yeah, just leave it in the comments. Y'all know what to do. YouTube, whatever. And here we go. Our last story of today. Oh, that was so quick. No, Edith. No, I'm kidding. Here we go. And it titles 960 Tries to Get My License at 69. Jose actually sent me this story because it was quite hilarious. And when I read this story, all I could think about is, for those of you who have watched it, is SpongeBob. So it goes. Third time's not always the charm. In Cha Sassoon's case, it took 960 tries and thousands of dollars to get her driver's license. Her remarkable success story occurred more than a decade ago, but recently resurfaced on Reddit and is inspiring people all over the world. When she finally passed the test in 2010, she was 69 years old. She is now, side note, she's now 80, so just FYI. She determinedly sat for the written test every day for 5 days a week over a period of 3 consecutive years, according to the New York Times. Things don't stop there. Next up, 2 driving skills and a road test. However, she failed each of them 4 times in a row, but persevered through it all, finally obtaining her driver's license. In the end, Sassoon shelled out over 5 million won, which is roughly about 4,200 US dollars, trying to pass these tests, according to the NBC News. Her story even caught the attention of the car empire Hyundai, and who awarded Sassoon with her own car that cost about $16,000. She also starred in a popular commercial for the automotive company. Sassoon sells her homegrown vegetables for a living and wanted to learn how to drive in order to maintain her business. She also told the Times she wanted to be able to take her grandchildren to the zoo. I thought that was the cutest little story, but to go back into what I was saying, why I thought this reminded me of SpongeBob, because if you have seen it, you know that SpongeBob does not have his driver's license, and he has taken his driver's test so many times. It's not even funny. I think in one episode, I think Patrick goes in like once with him and gets his driver's license. So that's how bad it was for SpongeBob. So to see this story, that's honestly what I thought of, was SpongeBob and not being able to get his boat driving license. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute. I thought it goes to show you that you're never too old to do anything, to set yourself to do anything, but you're also never too young either to do and set yourself goals. And sometimes, if you really want it, just because you failed once, twice, or 3 times, doesn't mean you can keep going. And that's what something she wanted to do. And she kept going for 960 times, right? That's what I read. Yeah, 960 times. So that really just goes to show you perseverance. So keep going. And if it's something you really love, don't stop it. Just because you failed once, twice, 3 times doesn't mean it's not meant to be. Sometimes it just means that you have to keep going. And I know that's, once again, easier said than done, but here we are. So, and then that's how I feel about my podcast. It's not like the popular podcast, and I mean, like 3 people out of everyone gets to maybe see it or read it, but here we are. We're going on, and it's something I love to do. It's something I love talking. So here we are, and yeah, 69 years old. 960 tries and finally got her license. And I think my husband was like, I don't know if she should have gotten her license after it took her that long, but but hey, if she passed the driving test, and I'm sure, the fact that she wanted to do this also for her grandchildren, I think that's so adorable. And the fact that she wanted to do it to also to keep her business going, I think that's really, really admirable of her. The fact that she grows her own vegetables and is able to go out and sell them probably at the markets or stuff like that. I think it's cool. So good job, little old lady. And like I said, this story obviously was really long ago, but for some reason it resurfaced on Reddit and it has just made its rounds again. So pretty cool. Pretty cool how the internet works sometimes. And yeah, that's it. That's our stories of today, guys. We have no more. I don't know. For some reason, I felt like this one went by really quickly. But that was it. That's all I have for y'all. I hope y'all don't give up. That's my take for this week. Don't give up. Keep trying. Keep going. You're almost there. Maybe this is your 100th time trying. Maybe this is the 500th time you try to go on a diet. The 500th time you try to start your first workout. I don't know. Like maybe the 500th time you try to find a job. I don't know. But whatever it might be, I hope today she'll like you one, and I hope it sticks. And I hope you have a good week. And if you're listening to this at the end of the week, then I hope you had a great week. And like always, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Not kidding. I don't think we have Facebook. I take that back. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. I think some people do Google. And yeah, that's that. And so without further ado, I will see you again next week with more stories, more science, more laughs, more drama. And that's that. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for staying. Bye.